toxic feminine. I can't even see.
Yo, this is great news. Great news, Eagles Nation. We have Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby at practice today. So, why is it great news? Because we have more depth in our secondary. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, well, how good is Jalen Mills if he gets beats on double moves too? And, Ronald Darby, like he's burnt toast and all that. Well, I mean, like, that's not really the point when it comes to, you know, how exciting this news is. Hold on, this notification. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so yeah, basically talking about that whole Jalen Ramsey thing. I'll get more than that too. But look at this though. Jalen Mills, right? He's coming back off a foot injury. So more than likely he's not going to be 100% the Jalen Mills that we all know and love, right? And Ronald Darby, with his hamstring, what have you. But think about it. Like the depth we have at corner now. We have Jalen Mills, Ronald Darby, uh, and then we have Vontae Maddox like coming back possibly, and then we also have Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones. These are all corners that I feel like will have a breakout game this Sunday because of the message that Doug Peterson sent. And who better is to play in this defense than Jalen Mills? Like Jalen Mills, although he's kind of like a soup sandwich at times too, as Lord Brunson would say. And kind of poo cheese, like when it comes to deep coverage. I feel like this would be an exciting game for him to show why he is a Super Bowl caliber corner. I believe Ronald Darby will come back with something to prove. And it just adds depth, man, because when you have just only Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas, man, you're looking at that corner that's behind them as you know who, like you don't know who they are. So having Jalen Mills and Ron Darby back is definitely great news. Definitely great news. But the only thing is we need Jim Schwartz to adjust his scheme to play to their strengths, which is playing physical at the line and taking away those underneath throws, especially in the red zone. So as I said in my previous video, I highly recommend Jim Schwartz going with the cover 2 man 1 defense to take away those underneath throws and also to limit the amount of bombs that we've been getting beat by this whole season. And another thing, off the secondary, we have T.J. Edwards and Alex Singleton coming off the practice squad. Like, this is great news because I've heard nothing but great news about T.J. Edwards. He, according to a lot of more expert Eagles content creators, T.J. Edwards was actually one of the best linebackers to play in that Vikings game. He's one of the more exciting linebackers that Jim Schwartz has been able to coach, especially in the offseason. This is not just me saying it. This is like a lot of reports and then backed up by, as I said before, more expert Eagles content creators. Even though I feel like I'm pretty good myself, but it's just, the guys that have been doing this way longer than me, with years on and got credentials behind their name, right? Yeah, so Alex Singleton and TJ Edwards, I think they're going to bring exciting energy to that linebacking group, something that Zach Brown just wasn't able to do with his nonchalant attitude and seemingly immature behavior, from unnecessary penalty calls, egregious statements in interviews, and all the way up to him calling out Kirk Cousins, possibly, damning our chances to win for that game. So definitely great news coming out of the Eagles camp. Definitely something for Eagles Nation to get excited about coming into this Dallas-Philadelphia game on Sunday, which, again, I'll be attending at, man. I hope to see a lot of y'all there. And then, other breaking news, man. Oh shit, I lost the train of my thought. Yeah, so like linebacker group, like terrific energy, and then Jim Schwartz, like changing up their scheme, secondary, more depth. Now like let's move over to how this could play into the Cowboys game, right? So yes, we do have our starting probably best two corners coming back, like not 100%. But look at these Dallas receivers, man. Because as I said, like Michael Gallup just came off arthroscopic knee surgery, like not even a month ago. So he's not going to be 100%. So I think his 40 time was like 4.3, 4.4 in the combine. Like just correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I know it was like 4.3, 4.4 because he's just like amazingly fast receiver when he's healthy. So he just came off a knee surgery. So let's say that kind of hampers him a little bit. Like he's not 100%. So let's say he runs like high 4.5, low 4.6. That's well in the range of probably of Rasul Douglas or a Sidney Jones or Avonte Maddox. So I definitely see this like a great game for our secondary with their fast receiver hampered, and then Amari Cooper, he's just had a myriad of injuries, like coming into the season. He's had like a high ankle injuries, he's had a quad injury, and I believe he had some kind of like some kind of heel injury, or whatever, like what have you, like basically like a whole leg injury. So Amari Cooper is also pretty fast, but with those leg injuries, I think it's off his plant foot. Like you would think he's going to be coming slow off that line. So, and then him coming in out of his brace is going to play a lot more advantage because he can't really beat you as well on the double move, which is something our corners just get beat on a lot. So, I think this plays well into our secondary game plan. However, I still recommend us playing two safeties high. I would not bank on anybody just being injured. Like that's not always the smartest idea to go. That's always not like as that guy who wrote the Raven once said, like the road less traveled. Like that's not a road that what I'm saying, that we want to travel on. Like the road that we want to travel on is road to a better scheme, better coverage play, cover two, man one. Like tell me what y'all think in the comments. And then so this is gonna play well for our secondary. So if we can adjust ourselves on secondary, knowing these things, having this depth, I think that stopping the run like just will be a lot easier because again, you have two linebackers that came off the practice squad that are itching for a spot to play, itching for a spot to be a starter in this league. So they're gonna come out with some fire. Like they're gonna be able to stop the run. And then just be able to get to Dak Prescott on that better offensive line. I believe I read a report like not too while ago that Lyle Collins and what's his fucking name? Lyle Collins and like the other fat guy, what his name is? Tyron Smith. I believe they're probable like to be out for this game, and even if they aren't, like they have injuries that hamper their ability as tackles. You know what I'm saying? Coming off that line, like they got a plant. So if they still have those injuries, it's not going to be easy for them to block our pass rushers. And Derek Barnett, who's only getting healthier, and Brandon Graham, who's only getting hungrier. And our D line just needs to start getting pressure on Dak, like we've seen with the Jets D line, because I believe our D line is a lot more stout than Jets D line. So yeah, man. Like get pressure. Like we need to do really good at getting pressure, in this game. So like covering all those things. And then y'all heard about Jalen Ramsey getting like traded to the Rams. Well, my thoughts on that is I'm glad he got traded to the Rams. So now we ain't got to talk about him. Like we ain't got to focus on this. Like we can focus on a division game instead of a corner who's not guaranteeing a Super Bowl. And I just feel sorry for the Rams because he's not going to take that option Like, he's not going to allow a team to take that option year in his contract, uh, like after the season. So I'm thinking that he's not going to stay with the Rams because if they don't give him an extension or like the max contract that he's asking for, I believe he's out the door like he did in Jacksonville. Um, and and even then, like the Rams kind of wasted first round picks because they're not going to the playoffs out of that division. They still have Seattle and the 49ers to compete with, and that other team. Because they got Seattle, the 49ers, LA, and somebody else, man. But like I know that they're one of the toughest divisions out there in the NFC West. So the Rams aren't going to playoffs no way because Jared Goff has been exposed as the Poochie's quarterback he is. Um and like the Rams will be out of first round picks for the next couple of years because of this trade that they chose to partake in. You know. So I mean like tell me what y'all think in the comments, man. What more can we do on offense? What more can we do on defense? And who's going to be the breakout player on our defense? So like let me know what y'all think in the comments. Other than that, like y'all have a nice rest of the night. And just remember, fly equals fly forever in life.